Scrollies listeners, another bonus ep to start the year, right? I think this is a bonus ep. What's up? Hello, it is me, Team Ratnado. I am here with
a Squat Cobbler, wondering how we got to this point. Truly memes into dreams, back into memes. Ratnado, we've made it a whole year on Scrollies. How did this happen? Why are people still listening?
I made the joke again that I don't think I've ever worked on anything as hard as I've worked on this before in my life.
We're just mutually assuring that this thing isn't just totally abandoned and left behind. Whenever one of us is ready to give up, the other just says, no, we gotta push on, and then vice versa.
Eventually we'll push along so far and we'll go and do so much content that nobody can ignore us anymore. Everyone will join in, they'll become part of the Scrollies Squadnado.
Exactly. Ask the YouTubers from 2006. They're all big stars now. Every single one of them. They just lasted this long, and now that's how it happens.
And they're fixtures now. It's interesting. You want to ask YouTubers questions. It's kind of interesting that today, on this bonus episode of Scrollies, we're actually looking at some questions. I think it's a fun thing. As always, we meme things into reality. And there's nothing better to do at a 1-year anniversary than to take some questions and answer them truthfully with our full chest, with our heart, everything, right?
Truly so. I could not agree more, Ratnado. We have gotten to this point, and, we've learned a few things along the way, and the rest we're figuring out as we go. But we can happily answer those questions you have about how we got here, because we're asking them as well. We don't even know.
It's been a pretty good journey. I mean, we started out, it was just us two in our own spaces, and now we've got this enormous mansion-esque studio. We lost audio, we picked up audio, we picked up Eggy, and look where we're at now. We got a full staff, we've got legal
team of interns.
I was looking at these questions.
Wait, how many questions can I ask?
I was looking at this, Eggy. Why are you asking questions? Why don't you just? Well, you could just ask us right now, dude.
Well, Eggy, I mean, You're here. You can ask as many as you want. I mean, obviously you could ask us whenever. You didn't have to wait until this Q&A to ask them. I'm surprised you just sat there, just helping us. What do you even do here, Eggy? Honestly, that's my question to you. What do you do here? Yeah. Okay. Well,
you pick up a check every week.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to be doing something. Scrollies is still going. So I mean, we put it out there and it exists. So I guess Edgar's doing something to make that happen.
Why are we still here? Is it just to suffer? Just to live a life of highs and lows until the inevitable end? Is that what we exist for? Is that all we exist for? Tell me, Rat. Tell me, Squat. Is that why we live?
Yeah, ask as much as you want, Eggy. I mean, hey, fair game.
Let's see if you can think of any more, Eggy, by the time we're done, and maybe then we'll have the answers. We'll know how many questions people can ask. Are you ready, Squat Cobbler, to jump into this land of questions with me with the first one?
Oh, I'm ready. I have been ready for this for an entire year.
There's the whole reason that we started, is just so that we could do a 1-year anniversary.
We were all building up to a 1-year Q&A, and after this, I mean, it's the Wild West. We don't know where it's going to go from here. Or should I say it's yeehaw times going forward. First off, we have some anonymously submitted questions. So if you ask these, you know who you are.
Okay, first question. How did Scrollies get started?
Ooh, that is the question indeed. There's one person responsible for Scrollies starting, Ratnado, and do you know who that is?
I think I do. The inventor of all no, just kidding. I have an idea. Who is it, Squat? You tell me.
Well, here, let me go back in the DMs between Ratnado and myself. I'll leave out all the spicy Meeks talk. Well, Ratnado, it was a date like any other. It was December 4th, 2021. In fact, it was the middle of the night for me. It was 12:30 a.m. We were talking about stream ideas, multiplayers, collabs, clips, likes, ratios, just, the usual talk between two streamers.
Yeah, as we do.
And then, what was it, at 12:33 a.m. on December 4th, 2021? Sam said he told you we should do a podcast? What? This is Samson ID, naturally. Could it be that Sam was the brainchild behind Scrollies? Ratnado, was there any earlier mention of the podcast than this?
See, yeah, that's crazy. I remember we were talking about it in December, and I don't know where I said it. It might have even been during stream or something like that, when I was I think you had shouted out a clip in Sam D's stream. I actually remember looking for it. I should have clipped it or something. But he had like complimented. So I went to go visit him.
It was the origin point of Scrollies, and we didn't clip it. It's lost the time now.
He was playing Mario, and I came in. I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, I know Squat Cobbler. He's like, oh yeah, you've got a really nice voice. You should like do a podcast or something.
Well, you do have that DJ voice, so Sam is correct in this.
And he had said you had said it earlier, and I was like, I should go find what he said. I don't think I ever went and found what he said. But I do remember that, and like that was like kind of sitting in my brain. We were talking about doing another podcast, like kind of a D&D thing, way like years ago, and that just still hasn't materialized. Obviously,
well, based on how yesterday's episode went, maybe it'll never materialize, or it will, and then suddenly we'll have to redact all of it.
Kind of true, actually. But yeah, no, I remember that. That was kind of the genesis of like, let's just do something just for fun, just to do it.
Absolutely. So thank you, Sam, for the idea. I don't remember you telling me this, but I'm glad the Ratnado did. Because he proposed this in December, and then I said, oh yeah, that's a cool idea. And then we went on like it was nothing. But honestly, much like how the Thick Boys first started, I was told by Payday, yeah, we should stream. And I'm like, yeah? Why? Didn't take it seriously until I actually started thinking about it. I'm like, what if we do? And then naturally, a few months later, in early February 2022, last year, right, 1 year ago, we actually set the ball in motion. We said, hey, you know what? It's a meme. Let's make it a dream. Let's do it for real. And thus, Scrollies began.
Oh, gosh. Pretty crazy. Here we are. I had no expectations. It's like, what if this is something we do for like a month, and then we're just like, yeah, I don't know, maybe that's it.
Likewise, I did not think that we would get to this point. I thought, oh, we'll talk until we're out of things to talk about, and evidently hasn't happened yet. So, so long as we can drone on, I guess you're stuck with us.
As long as we get guests too. Seriously, like, it's been helpful just to go to people as well and just be like, what do you love? What do you like talking about and doing that? That's what I enjoy a lot.
But Ratnado, at what point did we realize this meme had become Dream? So for myself, it actually also comes back to Sam. We had an episode early on, one of our first guest episodes. I believe it was 14. It actually got recorded at RatCon, so we had a little funny bit where me and Ratnado were switching webcams, stepping off screen, and the other would step in, and Sam was asking how we were doing it. He thought we were using some kind of podcasting magic. And then we both stepped on screen together, and he was the first one to ever witness me and Ratnado in the same location. It was a magical experience. But for myself, it was that Yes Mora or No Mora episode. That was something we had talked about way before, just in your chat, Ratnado, about how Nomura just, you had so much stuff to say about it, and how you had to get it out, but it was going to make people so upset. I'm like, all right, well, this is the moment. This is Scrollies ride or die. Either we're going to get canceled from this, or it's going to go over well. And I think it went over pretty well. People seem to agree with it. Even the Kingdom Hearts fans, the Final Fantasy VII fans were pretty unanimous in, I guess, the No Mora of the Yes Mora No Mora ratio, which surprised me. I was expecting a hate train. I was not ready for it. So for me, that's when I realized that the meme had become Dream.
We actually like came to a pretty good middle ground of like, yeah, he's got his flaws, but he's done some good stuff.
Maybe era? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's really good. I kind of agree. That was almost probably the point. That moment was solidified in my mind of like, this is a dream now. This is great. Like it, whether or not, like, I don't know, not that there's like external validation, but the internal validation of like, we're doing this. We've got people coming onto the podcast. And for me, I think one of the moments that, like, the thing I love most about it is when people respond to stuff and, like, it, like, sparks a conversation. So I think it was Chunky Cat. For me, it might have been Chunky Cat as a guest. And then in the Discord after we posted it, people listened to it and they were like, there was a whole discussion about Link hotness.
The Link hotness scale, yeah.
passionate defending and arguing, and I was just like, yeah, this is a meme.
Surprisingly more contentious than Yes Mora or No Mora.
Yeah. So I think that was my meme to dream moment. Definitely every step along the way, though, things happen like that was a solidifying moment as well, of just like, it's cool to like just have our friends on and just talk to people, and when people engage with it, I think anytime that happens to me, that's the dream.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Ratnado, do you have a favorite podcast episode in this past year?
That's so tough.
They're all our babies. It's like choosing your favorite child.
It kind of is too, because then I like want to go with like a guest one of like, this one was really good. I remember like this and this and this, and I don't want to like make anyone feel like theirs wasn't the best, because they were all of them are really good.
All of the guest episodes are automatically in A tier. So just,
Non-stop.
Objectively.
The one that immediately pops up, one that I've actually like listened to a lot since, because I just think it's funny, is the DLC one. Just because Squat took so much time to put in little...
Every time we said free so much in that episode, I was like, oh my gosh, we have to, otherwise it'll just be awkward. But now it's funny.
So to me, that one's funny. Just the amount of work that went into a bit that probably, I mean, like people probably like, they keep doing that. But like this bit that just kind of flew under the radar, but is hilarious to me. So that's the one that I'm just like, oh, that was so good.
Yeah, I really like that one as well. But that's not my favorite. My favorite Ratnado, it's a bit of a cop out, but I much like Tarantino considers Kill Bill one movie and not two movies, Volume 1 and Volume 2. The Composer's Top 5. It's one episode to me that we've just split up among various parts, because originally it was going to be, and maybe someday, folks, we will have the original concept of top 5 composers in its full glory, but you'll have to, I guess, wait for the final part of that to come out.
But think if we had done that, it would have been like a minute each of a song, like, yeah, Nobuo Uematsu, I really like him. All right, and Grant Kirkhope, and here's 60 seconds long, and we're on to the next one.
Imagine if we still got to David Wise and I still went on and just made up all the lost time in just one segment.
That was really good too, though. I agree. I like the running bit of Squat just loving. He can't stop himself from talking about DK.
3 out of 4 so far have been composers of monkey games, so it begs to reason, what does number 5 bring? I guess we'll get there when we get there. Just a matter of weeks at this point.
Okay, we're gonna go into some of the Discord questions. We're gonna bare our souls. First question: what made you decide doing a podcast as opposed to any other form of media? Do you have any plans on expanding it in the future to other content?
Ooh. And who asked that?
Ultrajonic, the Ultrabot.
The Ultrabot, Raccoons in his Circuits. Ultrajonic, that is a great question. I'd say it kind of goes back to, I guess, the original idea of Scrollies and just thinking of a podcast. But yeah, I guess we could have gone with like a YouTube channel or a joint stream or something. I think it just kind of the content we wanted to make was short and sweet little segmented discussions. And sure, we could have done that on YouTube as like in a video form, but in all honesty, it would have been just way more to loop in. And some people don't like being on camera, so it would have probably limited us on some guests. So podcasts are easily digestible. You can play them in the car, you can play them in the shower, you can play them at work, you can play them at lunch. So I think that's kind of why we opted for podcasting. Was just if you fit them in wherever you can throughout your day, just a little 30-minute segment, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, I think so. There was discussion, and this even goes back even further, I think, to when Squat was in 1890s or whatever. And he was like, what if we did like a radio show? Just like, short band AM. It hasn't been invented yet, but I'm getting real close. What if we did that? And I was like, that's a pretty good idea. But who would receive it?
Cutting edge technology. We gotta, ride that wave.
Yeah. The first episode of Scrollies, actually, before we could make the barrelgram work right, Squat Cobbler was sending actually beep 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 beep, and that's how Scrollies first started. So
yeah, we had to AI generate my recording for those first little bit until I got the barrelgram.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I would do other stuff too. I think there's been like talk. I just like when we can get together and do stuff. Like, someone said, "What about a stream?" And I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't be like our main thing, but maybe one day we do a stream every once in a while from it or something.
We could call it Side Scrollies.
Oh, original name.
You know what? Just for all of you right now, I'm going to play the unedited original introduction of Scrollies Episode 1. It did, in fact, have a different name off the bat, and then in editing I decided, Scrollies sounds better. So take a listen to that.
And hey, we're just doing something kind of weird. I think that's kind of what I like to do. I like to meme, and then it becomes real. My memes become dreams. And I guess this is, what are we calling this, Squat Cobbler? Do you want to let the people know?
Yes, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Side Scrollies. the podcast where we get real in depth on a topic and then extravagate from there. And imagine we live in the Scrollies timeline as opposed to the alternate side Scrollies timeline where we only did 10 episodes and then everyone stopped listening and we gave up. Yeah, no, Ultradronic, I would be totally down to do other Scrollies type content in the future. Naturally, RatCon, we plan to do Scrollies live again. I mean, that's an exclusive, I guess, but we did it last year, so it's not really a surprise. Otherwise, like, yeah, if I guess the need ever came to do something a little more than what we've done in the podcast, I think we'd happily jump at the chance.
I'm hoping that we're able to just collaborate with people and do some stuff, and who knows what happens there.
Certainly. I think we'll be talking about the next year in a few questions from now. But following up from expanding to other content, Warstaff, El Papa Dulce Primo asks, Scrollies the video game podcast, the video game. When?
What does this mean? I don't understand the question.
Did the prototype get leaked? How does he know about that, right, Nato? Who spilled? Eggy, was it you? Eggy, did you say something?
I find the best way to do these is to just see what happens. Don't plan it out ahead of time, just go for it.
Classic Eggy.
Fortunately, it's still so early on that it may just be a totally different iteration of the game by the time he actually gets to play it in 2028. Right before Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 comes out.
Oh, gosh. One day, maybe. We've kind of dipped our toes into this, Squat. Scrollies, a video game podcast, the video game. Choose your own adventure podcast with code SYN, which I guess we need to release at some point. That's going to be our first foray, the first Scrollies Studios game. Choose your own adventure. And again, you're the podcast guest.
You will choose, and that's ultimately the mark of a video game, right? It's choice and putting that in the hands of the player, or I guess in this case, the listener.
That would be a really funny text adventure, actually, of it stops, it pauses, and we record just some other lines, and you make a choice, and we see where it goes from there.
Oh, this is getting a little too ambitious for our repertoire, but... So, Warstaff, you'll just have to wait and see what the future brings. I'm sorry that you were let in on this so early. Hopefully it doesn't color your expectations like the GTA 6 leak.
All right. Thank you, Warstaff. We got another one.
It's from a dedicated listener who's not on the Discord, or at least not super active on the Discord, but still listens every week. He always messages me, IRL friend. So shout out Sam Kubert, a.k.a. Subby, is I think his Discord name. He asks, where are you from? Oh, that's so personal, Subby. And what video games have inspired you so greatly in your lives or made such an impact on you? Well, I don't think there's ever been a game with a more profound effect on me than a little game called DK Barrel Blast. No, just kidding.
That's actually true, though.
Well, not for the better. It's had a profoundly negative effect on me. Red Dead Redemption 2 for myself. No game has had quite a lasting effect on me, colored my view of life and what you can do with it. Just treating people decently and kindly in the violent world of a Rockstar game. If you played the high honor playthrough like I did, I guess low honor, you would just learn how to rob trains and buy a bunch of outfits and overpriced weaponry. So, yeah, your mileage may vary.
Yeah, there you go. Red Dead, I think that's a game I need to play 2.
You do need to play 2, right, Nato?
I need to finish 2. Gosh, I need to finish 2.
But hey, no rush. It took me 2 years, so whenever you get to it.
I think I've still got the rest of this year. It's been 1 year since I started it. A little over 1 year.
There you go.
Where am I from? Okay, 325... no, I'm from Utah. If you don't know, I'm from the mountains of Utah, kind of. I'm not living there right now, originally where I started. And what games have inspired? I think the biggest ones, obviously, Super Nintendo stuff. Link to the Past on Super Nintendo, Mega Man X, and obviously Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VI. I think were the biggest thing that set me up for kind of the direction I went with what I like and what I enjoy. And 3D games-wise, some stuff came along, and Final Fantasy has kind of always been there for me as long as I've been alive, and it's made me look for story. I enjoy numbers. I enjoy tactical stuff. And so That's all in there.
Final Fantasy makes you enjoy numbers. That sounds about right. No, that's great. I mean, hey, once the nostalgia claws sink their hooks in you, I mean, that's with you for life. You're carrying that with you like a parasite. But it's a parasite that makes you feel good, I guess. Yeah. And colors your judgment.
Exactly. Everything I see it through a Final Fantasy lens. Thank you, Hironobu Sakaguchi.
Truly, truly.
I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for the question, Subby. Oh, we have another one from the Discord. Here's my question. Are you affiliated with these folks? Scrollies is a family-owned business operating in Dexter, Missouri. We offer flavors that start with a sweet and creamy homemade vanilla ice cream. Then we roll in ingredients of your choice. We offer non-dairy and sugar-free options. Also, Scrollies will be taking orders by walk-in only, reserved tables, or private birthday parties by calling us directly. Asked by McButcher. McButcher, yes. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question.
Moving on.
What's that? What's that, Angie?
Hello, Squad Cobbler, or Ratnado, or probably both. What are your true feelings on Garfield the cat? Be honest.
Oh, Eggy, I've been waiting for you to ask this, honestly. It's crazy you're finally asking it. Squat Cobbler, I mean, we joke a lot. We post the Garfield gun shotgun meme gif. But I feel like we've got some real feelings about Garfield, right?
I have feelings about them, and they are real. Are they profound? Maybe not. I haven't had such a memeless interaction with Garfield as I think yourself and DD Bash has, Eggy. But Garfield's cool. I mean, I see some of the comic strips sometimes. I think they're funny. I watched a bit of the cartoon, the old one, the Garfield and Friends one, I believe.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He's a beloved comic character. Calvin and Hobbes was more my jam growing up, but hey, I give Garfield the stamp of approval. Very worthy of tormenting you 24/7, Eggy, and is due worship in the huge Discord. So make sure you stop by there and leave a gift in DVD Bash's section.
Yeah, I feel like Garfield in my life in the past year or so, because Eggy's been talking about it, more Garfield comes to him.
I really think this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, Eggy, where the curse of Garfield only continues because you yourself are so adamantly against Garfield.
The less Garfield you want, the more you're gonna get.
Not that you should change any of your actions right now. I mean, keep it up. Like this is good content, but.
I think the thing for me about Garfield, kind of like you're saying, like there's always been some Garfield in my life. I always watched Garfield and Friends, but I was never like that into it. The thing I love, my favorite thing is like the joke or like the urban legend that Bill Murray voiced Garfield the cat in the movie because it was directed by a Coen.
Mm-hmm.
And so the joke or the legend goes that he thought it was the Coen brothers. Like, oh wow, yeah, I'll do this with them. Only to get on and find like, oh, no, not those Coens. You are contractually obligated to do this still.
Once again, my life has been saved by the miracle of lasagna.
Though the legend goes deeper in that the voice actor of Garfield in the 80s, I think, was doing a Bill Murray impression for the character for his first like voiced appearance. That may be incorrect, but I read that somewhere. I thought that was funny. And then Bill Murray himself voiced them 2 decades later for an entirely unrelated reason.
Don't nobody fact check that.
You know, Scrollies here, we only state facts, and we only make definitions that are accurate. So, moving on, where do you live? Warstaff asks this. Well, Warstaff, I think it's been pretty obvious. I live the same place as you, the Northern Cremisphere.
We're all in the Cremisphere now.
Yeah, we've addressed this before, Warstaff. I don't know why you've forgotten, but yeah, that's where we are. You know, all of us. Maybe not Cleveland or Vivian, but you know, the rest of us.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
See, that's why Cleveland plays DKC3 so much, because he wants to visit the Northern Cremisphere.
He wants to see what it's like. It's very different. You can come visit anytime, Cleves. We'll let you hang out.
Easily. We'll happily house you at RACCon 2028.
Next question, Squat Cobbler. A different question. It's even noted that way. All right, Squat, was the Scrollies logo printed on the side of the Chinese spy balloon? By McButcher. Thanks, McButcher.
There's no such thing as bad press, folks. You know, like, hey, ultimately that's going to be beneficial, right? You all know us now because of the Chinese spy balloon.
Yes. Listen to Scrollies.
FBI, open up! Oh no, they're back!
They're back again!
As if the emulators weren't bad enough. Hey, it's okay. It got shot down, so, you know, it served its purpose, right? Right?
It's kind of the point.
Oh, Eggy, you got something else?
What are your credit card numbers? Don't forget the numbers on the back.
Eggy, are you telling me that John Wick needs my help?
Yeah, we can help him. Is that possible for us to do something?
Oh, here, let me break out my card. Here you go, Eggy. Here, I'm just gonna loan you the Scrollies card. Like, do whatever you need to. I need John Wick to be helped.
The security number is 037.
Exactly. Yeah. Feel free to read that off, Eggy, so we can have other people help John Wick too.
The name on it, Team Rat NATO. Okay, that's the name.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. It's tied to his credit account too, so I mean, like, by all means, spend as much as you need to.
That is my legal name, by the way. I have changed it, so if you want to find me.
Ever since David Hayter wished him happy birthday, it's, he just had to make it so he was wishing him personally and not his brand.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next question. From maybe the biggest Scrollies fan, my personal inspiration.
That's a bold claim.
I don't know. Actually, I guess I can't say that. But Main Tater, a huge supporter of Scrollies. We thank you so much.
Truly.
Main Tater asks us, is there anything you want to accomplish in year 2 of Scrollies? Huh. That's a pretty good question. I haven't really thought about it. I didn't think we'd get this far.
Right, Nato didn't even know we'd come up on a year. It just happened to ping on our calendar that our biggest mistake was reaching its anniversary. No, just kidding. Well, yeah, I think year 2, for myself, I'd be down to continue, obviously, asking guests on that we know from the community. I think there are still some people that we have yet to bring on that would be great to discuss certain topics. However, I think maybe in year 2, we'll start maybe just reaching out to some people outside the community, some YouTube people, maybe some IRL friends that you guys don't know, but like Ryan the other week, talking board games, just, whatever fits the topic. So that's what I think for year 2.
I think in year 2 of just like, making steps, like Squat said, step outside of our community and, try new stuff. For me, creatively, this is fun to just try things and do things and see what's enjoyable. And if somebody's listening to this and they laugh a couple times, to me, that's a win.
Yeah, and ultimately, I mean, what we're doing works. All of you seem pretty happy with it, and we're pretty happy with it. So we don't really intend to totally reinvent the wheel here. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing, but maybe just branch out a little bit. And I think that's kind of what we'd like to do in year 2.
Next question. This is one from McButcher, another McButch question. A question I want your honest debate on. Are PC gamers really superior to console players? Oh, no.
Well, McButcher, you see, I understand what you're trying to get to the bottom of, but you've asked the question all wrong. They're both inferior to handheld gamers.
Yeah, I agree. You can do anything handheld now, McButch.
Imagine having to sit in one place to play a video game. That's just so archaic.
You can't hold your monitor over your head and lay down in bed. You're losing, okay?
Yeah.
And that's the Scrollies' official statement.
Precisely, yeah. Print that on our merch. We stand by that.
Next question. Again, another one from Main Tater. Main Tater, plan on revisiting any discussions from previous episodes? Do we?
Ooh. I think we do sometimes. Like the DLC episode was... Yeah, that came from free-to-play. Sometimes we leave a little bit of a loose end for us to pick up later at the end of an episode. I think it just kind of depends on the topic. If we have more to say, then we'll do another episode on it, or we'll continue in a similar but slightly different strain from that original topic. And yeah, I'd definitely be down to revisit some previous discussions, especially if there's more developments on a matter than we had at the time of recording, which happens sometimes.
Whew. Yeah.
Sometimes very shortly after we record.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I think so.
Listen to the episode from yesterday, everyone. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's like micro details we can go into on things that like we talked about the big outside of it, and now let's just go on this little aspect of it.
Exactly. The next one, Rat NATO, I think pretty set in stone, this answer, so this one shouldn't be hard to answer at all. How many more Final Fantasy Redemptions does Rat NATO have? And that's asked by Andy, aka Andrea H001 of the Huge Discord. I can't answer that one. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but unlimited.
Yeah.
He can ask for as many as he wants for Final Fantasy VI, because this is a long-standing agreement me and him had from back when he willingly on his own, without persuasion from myself, decided to play DK64 all the way through to completion just because I like it. And you know what? That's probably the greatest thing anyone's ever done for me.
Oh my. was a fun game. I had a good time too.
Some may say suffered through. We aren't saying that here. Ratnado would never dare utter those words, but I'm just interpreting what the masses believe.
Yeah. There were times that were rough.
For sure. And you know what? There may have been times that were rough in Final Fantasy VI for me, hence why I haven't played in a year, but that's also due to EHA time displacement. Ratnado's been very kind in not requesting a Final Fantasy stream in a whole year, which, he has every right to do, so
Yeah.
maybe one of these days he'll finally have the opportunity to ask
There
again.
we go.
Once the game is invented.
Exactly. He's got a few more years left.
Yeah, easily. All right, next question. What's the future of RatCon and the future less talked of SquawkCons? Well, Warstaff, I'm glad you asked. This is excellent timing because we've just settled on some dates.
What I do want to say first, if you're asking about SquawkCon and when it's going to happen, you got to get in the right areas. That's all I'm going to say on that for right now.
Yeah.
I'll let Squat elaborate. But yeah, we did. We got some dates.
Hoboken, New Jersey.
Great. I'll be there.
Oh, I know you will. Make sure you bring your best cherry
Oh
pie.
gosh, no. Future of RatCon. We've put out one thing. I was going to make another flyer announcement. RatCon 23, down in the pits, will be landing in Pittsburgh May 26th through May 29th. So that's the weekend of Memorial Day. We're going to have like maybe one big stream. There's a bunch of stuff we're kind of planning to do and be around. Again, shout out. I said this in the Discord. If you were thinking about going and you're worried about, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the whole thing, just know we will have a place you can stay, and we're going to be trying to provide a bunch of food for free, no extra cost. So if that makes a difference for you, come to RatCon, and Warstaff will roast us some stuff. I think he's going to make some stew, he said.
Will Vicky Salad
Yes!
make a return? Yes.
All the Vicky salad you can eat.
All you can eat Vicky Salad, a full buffet of Vicky Salad. So yeah, be looking forward to RatCon 2023 down in the pits. It'll be a good time, not a long time. So let us know. Let us know if you want to come. All right, moving on. Do you think you'll stick to talking about video game content, or would you ever open up the conversation to analog stuff? That's asked by Andy. We definitely heavily side towards video game talk here on Scrollies, but it is a gaming at large podcast. I guess that includes things like card games, board games, which I talked about with Ryan not too long ago. Maybe even like
Dungeons and Dragons,
tabletops. Like, yeah, all games are fair game, pun intended. And
Pachinko,
only if we get Konami on as a guest. Can't say there's going to be any more this year than there was last year, but I'm sure you'll see a few sprinkled in there somewhere.
Oh man, yeah, I think games. We're talking about those games.
We're getting them gains. I mean games.
If you have suggestions, and again, if you've got a topic, just hang on to it. Just hang on to it, and who knows?
We are always welcoming new discussion, and anyone who can contribute to that is, obviously going to be very welcome indeed.
Let us know what you're thinking.
Eggy, what's...
New question.
Sorry, it sounds like Eggy's got one more question. What's up, Eggy?
When is Eggy coming back on Scrollies? Everyone wants to know.
Well, Eggy, aren't you on right now? I mean, you're asking questions, but you aren't answering any questions. That's part of the Q&A is the answers. I mean, like...
Yeah.
Should we ask you some questions, Eggy?
Like tea.
No? Eggy.
All right.
Well, okay, fine. This is pretty one-sided, but yeah, sure. Eggy, you'll be back on Scrollies this year.
Eggy is 23. Well, there it is. We've had a great year. Thank you for all of your support, everyone who listens. Thank you for these questions. Again, we love them. Maybe we'll do more stuff like this if it's interesting. I love the memes. I love the meme questions. I love this meme podcast. I love that people enjoy it if you do. And thank you so much for 1 year. Squat Cobbler, thank you as well. Man, we've put a lot of time and work and effort into this, and I'm proud of it. So thank you, Squat Cobbler.
I'm really happy with where Scrollies is at, how far it's come, and likewise, we could not be doing it without all of you listening. So thank you for your continued support. We've definitely had continued discussion around the episodes, and people have always been so kind in what they've said after listening to them. All the shout outs on Twitch, like, you guys are all too kind for that. Like, you don't have to do that, but we really do appreciate it. And looking forward to continuing that into this next year 2. And yeah, we'll see where it takes us. But thank you all so much.
We'll see you all next time. Bye.
See you later.
Is Eggy emo?